Hi, this is Katie. In today's video, I'm gonna do part 2 of how to plan for a road trip safety edition, like being responsible, making safe decisions, stuff like that. I did part 1 of this video a week ago, and I just have a couple more tips and ideas that I wanna share with you guys. I have been on hundreds of road trips, and I just have a little bit of advice that I wanted to share. So if you are interested in this video, I really hope that you're subscribed, and I hope that you keep watching. So first of all, to get this out of the way, yes, I am sunburned, okay? We're just moving on from that. I just wanted to obviously address that I am sunburned. It's not itchy or anything. I'm okay. I feel like it almost looks worse than it feels, which is great. Anyway, so I have a list on my phone. Again, I did part 1 of this video about a week ago, and you don't have to watch them in order. So if you didn't watch the other one, watch this one first, then you can watch that one second, or vice versa, whatever you want. But yeah, again, these are how to prepare for a road trip tips, but more on the safety idea kind of end of the spectrum, I suppose. So number 1 on this list, this is a really big one. In my personal opinion, this is a really big one. If you were going on a road trip, whether it's your first road trip, your 50th road trip, or your first road trip to a new spot, regardless, I don't think it's a good idea to tell social media or tell strangers exactly where you are when you're there. But I think it's a really good idea to make sure that you tell someone in your family or one of your friends. And so I'll kind of explain that a little bit further. So basically, if I'm going on a road trip and I know that I am driving from Minneapolis to Fargo, say, I might tell, my mom or my dad or one of my friends or whatever. And I might just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to Fargo tonight. Just in case, right? Just in case I lose service, just in case something happens. A lot of these tips that I'm gonna give might seem like common sense, and they also might seem like, oh, I don't need to do that because that won't happen to me. That's not a necessary thing for me. I'm a believer in even if something is common sense, or even if something is for emergency only, it's still good to do it. You know what I mean? So anyway, just in case there's an emergency, I think that it's good to tell someone in your family or one of your friends or your boyfriend or something like that where you're going, maybe even what road you're on, what time you plan to be there, something like that. But I do not think it's a good idea. And again, this is just my personal opinion, right? But I do not think it's a good idea to tell strangers or tell social media where you are exactly at the time that you're there and give really specific coordinates of where you are. It's very different if you're out to lunch and you tag where you are to lunch. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking more about if you're on a solo road trip by yourself, you might be sleeping in your car, something like that. I specifically don't think it's a good idea to say, hey, social media, this is where I'm sleeping tonight in my car by myself. I just don't think that's the smartest idea. Obviously, if your social media following is just your really close friends and family, that might be different. But if there might be some strangers who can see that, I just think err on the side of caution, err on the side of safety. That's kind of what I say with this kind of stuff. And so for example, when I am traveling somewhere, I might say I'm in Montana, or I might say I'm in Chicago, but I generally won't be specific about exactly where I am in that town or in that state unless it's a week after I already left. And also, I'm definitely not gonna be specific about where I'm sleeping or where I'm gonna be hanging out all day. Again, I think it's really different if you're hey, I'm trying this new restaurant or something like that. I think that could be different, but even that, err on the side of caution, because that will kind of depend on who you're telling. And it's just one of those things you never know. And I think a lot of you might know my motto by now is don't be scared, but be prepared. And so don't be nervous that, oh no, what if someone finds me? What if someone finds me? No, there's no point of being worried about it, but still just take the proper precautions. And so I think it's really good to maybe tell a family member or a friend if you're going on a really long road trip, if it's your first road trip, if you're going somewhere that you've never been before, and you're a little oh, I don't know, feel a little uneasy, a little bit nervous. Yeah, okay, tell someone in your family, tell your friends, whatever, something like that. But again, if you have a following that's bigger than just your friends and family, I personally would not share where I'm going to be long-term until after I already left. Just a safety thing. But again, that's just my opinion, because I think some people do post online, right when they wake up and they show the sunrise or whatever, where they are. But I do think that sometimes people do that where you can't really tell where they are. So they might actually show it in real time, but they are not giving maybe town names or coordinates, or maybe they're not giving specific, even right now, you can see a Walmart, but I generally wouldn't show in most of my videos, again, unless I'm posting it way later, I wouldn't show in my videos, you know, like a street corner name or a local place that I might be at all the time, stuff like that. You know, like when I was living in New York, like the last 6 months, I would walk around this park all the time. And sometimes I would show it in videos, but I would only show my feet and or like the water where you cannot see houses, you can't see street names, you can't even exactly really see what kind of water it even is, you know? So maybe even if you live 2 towns away, you still might not even know that that's what park I'm at. And again, I know some people might think that that's kind of like, oh, that's worrying too much, who cares? But again, I think it does depend on who's following you. And then on top of that, telling strangers. I just think with that, and that goes into the second thing on my list, is kind of like trust your gut, trust your instincts, and just use common sense. You know, there have been some times when I'm out and I will meet someone and I might tell them, oh yeah, I'm on a solo road trip, you know? And there have even been some times that I will meet someone and they're also on a solo road trip. And then so we kind of team up and we might camp at the same campground or something like that together. But all of that, I think, takes so much discernment. I really do. I don't think that it should just be like the first thing that we blab out. And have I done that in the past? Yes. But I don't think that it's the smartest idea, you know? And so now over the last few years, once I actually kind of realized that maybe I can make smarter decisions, it's going to be something that maybe, again, err on the side of caution. If you meet someone new, whether you're at a bar, you're at a coffee shop, you're at the library, you're at a restaurant, or even if you meet someone on a dating app or even like a friend app or like a meetup app or something like that, just err on the side of caution of what you want to share with them, you know? Because again, there have been sometimes that I have shared, yeah, I'm on a solo road trip. And honestly, I have met some incredible people because they were also on solo road trips. Or, you know, one time I was hiking in Zion on a ranger-led hike, and I happened to mention to like the little group that we were in that I was on a solo road trip. And the person leading the hike, who was a park ranger, was like, oh, well, I actually have the next couple days off, so I can show you around if you want. And he did. And it was like some of the best few days of my life. And so again, it just kind of takes some discernment and just kind of thinking, is this a smart decision? And will you always know 100%? No. But that's kind of with anything in life. We never know 100%, right? And honestly, I think trusting your gut, I believe it's God telling us what's safe, what's right, what's wrong, what's unsafe, whatever. And so I really believe to follow that and to listen to that. Okay, so the next thing on this list I think is so important. So obviously I have a wallet in my purse, right? Here's my purse right next to me. And I have my wallet inside there with my debit card. I have some cash. I think it is incredibly important and a really, really smart decision, if I do say so myself, to not keep all of your cash and all of your cards on you. I think it's really good to have some cash, at least enough for like a couple tanks of gas and some food. So having some cash and then even like a prepaid gas card, a prepaid Walmart card, whatever it is. I think it's really good to have some other money and prepaid cards, one or the other or both, that are separate and not in your purse or your wallet or your pocket, just in case, you know, so you can hide them wherever in the car that you feel safe doing that, whether it's in a glove compartment, whether it's under the seat, whether you buy a little like personal safe, put some money in there and then put it under the seat. I just think it's a really good idea. Again, just for like a couple tanks of gas and for some food, just in case. Because what if you lose your purse, or what if someone takes it? So at least have some money that will get you through a little bit of time hidden in your car somewhere, just in case. Again, don't worry about it, but be prepared about it. Is prepared about it a sentence? I don't think so. Anyway, the next thing is to have, do I have mine readily available? I think it's in the trunk. I'm not getting it, sorry. The next thing is to get a solar powered battery charger. What is it called? A solar power backup charger? Where did I write down? Phone charger. So I got one from Amazon. I will have it linked below. I'll have a couple things linked below. I always have my Amazon recommended link down in the description. But then sometimes in my videos, if I ever talk about something specific, always go check my description because sometimes I will list them. But anyway, I think it's important to have a solar power charger, again, just in case. What if your car dies and you have to wait a while to get it jumped, but your phone just died, you know? Or even just in case you're camping, or even if you're going on like a long hike, or you're gonna be in the backcountry or anything like that. I think having a backup battery for your phone is really smart, but I do think that having a solar powered one specifically is incredibly smart and could be incredibly helpful, just in case. And even not just in case, like what if you just camp a lot and you're like, I don't want to turn my car on all the time to charge my phone. You can just get a solar powered little battery thing and then leave it out, leave it on the roof of your car, leave it out on the dash, whatever, and then just charge it and use that instead of having to turn your car on all the time. So another thing, and this is not anything that I've ever had, but depending on how you are specifically going to be traveling, road tripping, hiking, whatever, it might be really helpful to have one of those like SOS devices. I actually wrote them down because again, I've never had one, but if you think that you're ever gonna be out of service for a long period of time, whether it's on a hike or whether you are gonna be living in a car, living in a van, or going on a road trip, you're gonna be out of service a lot of the time, it could be helpful to have, I wrote them down, satellite internet, a private hotspot, a personal locator beacon or a PLB, or a satellite emergency notification device or a SEND. Again, depending on how you travel, I am usually not out of service for more than a couple days. And if I am, I'm not only already gonna be telling my parents and, you know, if I have a boyfriend or my close friends who I talk to all the time, I might be like, hey, I'm gonna be out of service for a couple days or a couple hours. But also, if I'm out of service for more than a couple hours, it's generally because I'm in like a national park and there's a ton of other people around. And I generally don't, you know, go hike by myself. I generally, when I'm traveling by myself, which I do a lot of, I'm generally not in the middle of nowhere by myself. But if you are, like if you are gonna be going on a road trip and you might spend a lot of that time kind of out of service, it might be helpful to have one of these things just as like an emergency device. And again, I've never used one, but I will write those things down below just in case you want to do your own research on those. Okay, so one more thing that I recommend in terms of safety, if you're gonna be on a road trip, is to have accessories and clothing for every single type of weather that you can imagine. So literally in my car right now, and I am in Florida and it is 89 degrees right now, but I still have a 0-degree sleeping bag in my car. Am I gonna use that the whole time I live in Florida? No, I'm not going to use that. But I still like to have it in my car because what if next week I go on a road trip and what if I end up going up north where, you know, maybe it's 25 degrees at night somewhere. But I just think, again, not to worry about it, but just for safety, if you have the room in your car, have accessories and stuff that can help you when it's really, 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 really hot and when it's really, 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 really cold. And so again, for when it's really cold, I have my 0-degree sleeping bag. For when it's hot, it's a little bit harder, honestly, I think, to be on a road trip when it's really hot. But my favorite thing is, it's right here. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Okay, hold on. We have to have a side story for a second. So behind both of my seats, I have like little organizers and the one back here broke. And so everything fell out of it. So that's why I'm like, oh, what is down here? It's because that broke. I think it broke before and I sewed it up and then it just broke again. Or maybe that one broke. I don't know. I just got to sew it up. Regardless. Also, keep a needle and thread in your car. You never know, okay? Like, I really do think it's good to have like a first aid kit. I'm doing a tangent for a second. Have a first aid kit and then have some extra stuff that you just might never need, but if you need it, you'll be so happy that you have it, especially if it does not take up a ton of room, like a needle and thread, like a Swiss Army knife, all that kind of stuff, just in case. So like I do have a needle and thread in my car so I can sew this up because it just randomly broke. Anyway, what was I getting? When it's really hot out, I have, hold on, it's because everything fell. It's like right, it should be like right here. Hold on. Aha, there we go. Okay, this is the brand O2 Cool. Which is a really good name. This is a water bottle slash fan. So if it's going to be hot somewhere, you can put water or ice water in here and you turn the fan on and then you can spray yourself with water and fan yourself at the same time. That helps a lot. And it helps a lot more than just a regular fan. But also with my travels, and another thing that could maybe be under the safety thing, like a last little tip, if you're gonna be going on a road trip, just check the weather first. Obviously, you're gonna be looking out for storms and stuff like that. But also, I am someone who, if I'm gonna be on road trips and particularly living or sleeping in my car, I will generally go like north in the summer and south in the winter. Right now, I'm in Florida in the summer, but it's because I'm living in a house with my best friend. But if I'm gonna be going on the road for an extended period of time, I will generally go a little bit north in the summer and a little bit more south in the winter so that the temperatures are not too extreme. However, I have definitely slept in my car where the lowest it gets at night is 75, and I've definitely slept in my car where it has been in the 20s. I'm not recommending that you sleep somewhere where it's below 30, but if you have to, there are certain things that you could do, like get a 0-degree sleeping bag, you know, cover your feet, cover your head, that kind of stuff. But when it's really hot, it is a little bit more difficult, but that's why I like to go on road trips and try to go like as mild of temperature as possible, but that's not always possible depending where you want to go or depending what kind of road trip that you're going on. And so I just think it's really good to have have things that will help you in the heat and help you in the cold, and then also just help you in like really intense kind of weather situations if possible, if you think that you might be in those situations ever. So anyway, I think that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it and hope that it was helpful and gave you guys some ideas for, again, if you're going on your first road trip, your 50th road trip, or even if you've gone on a ton of road trips, but maybe you are going to a new spot. I just think it's really good to, you know, again, use discernment and use some common sense, but then also think about what is going to keep you the safest. And so I hope that this video helps. And again, I'll have my video from last week linked up here. That's just another couple tips about how to stay safe when you're on a road trip. Please let me know in the comments any other tips that you have for someone who's going to be going on a road trip, because this is obviously not an all-inclusive list in terms of ideas or safety or advice or anything like that. So if you have another piece of advice, please let us know in the comments, because I love that we can like share and help each other on here. And I really hope that you're subscribed. I do a lot of travel videos and a lot of like travel ideas and road trip ideas and tips, and a lot of lifestyle videos as well, and just kind of hanging out with me. So I really hope that you're subscribed. And yeah, I guess that's going to be it. Thank you again for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. I love you. Jesus loves you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.